The Love Circle's mission is to create a space that promotes holistic healing by spreading wisdom. In our circle, we believe that there is freedom in knowing your purpose, and to heal our community, we start by healing ourselves, building relationships, and sharing wisdom. The Love Circle's mission is to create a space that promotes holistic healing by spreading wisdom.
Community, like how you're just being the light and choosing to be the light in the community.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here. I am so excited to be a part of the Love Podcast. My name is Danielle Nicole, and I am the owner of the Lotus House. The Lotus House is a business that I recently started about a year ago, and our slogan is, I guess our saying is stand in your power. And a lot of that has to do with women healing themselves through wellness and spirituality. I am also a womb practitioner, so I focus on women healing their womb through wellness, whether that is infertility, having common infections that every woman goes through, which is something myself, I had that journey and it was just wow. And I made it through that. Yeah. So I started the Lotus House to be able to encourage and help women in that area, and also help for the emotional trauma that we go through concerning our wombs from, childhood trauma or past partners. And that too is something that I went through as well. And starting the Lotus House, it was more so, yes, this was a part of my journey, and I worked through it so hard and become the woman that I am today. And I just had to help other women because I knew that we can make it through that. So I started the Lotus House. Right now, it's just pretty much a business that, I'm still bringing together with having like the yoni steams and, some self-care products and stuff like that, but it is still coming along. So,
but I feel like that's the beautiful thing, because as you grow and you learn more, your business is going to expand.
It does. It does. And it was, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was saying it's definitely a business that I had to learn to create, trust my creativity, because that is something that I'm learning as well. And to think, you know what, I do have great ideas. I do have products that, like I'm seeing so much with feminine products that I'm just, I would not use that. And here's why. So it's like, I have to not only create and motivate and help in that area, but I have to teach the wellness and the health side of certain feminine products, because there are a lot of things that women are using that are so-called organic and natural. And it's like, no.
And people don't realize, like, some people think it's a lot easier to just go to the store and purchase something, but people don't realize how much easier it is to go in your kitchen and make this stuff yourself. You have limes, you have honey, most people have the basic herbs. Like, even if you don't have ashwagandha and all of this stuff in your kitchen, you have some basic herbs to start with.
Yes.
If you just take the time out and really invest in your self-care, it is so easy to do this stuff on your own.
Yeah. And then speaking on the self-care part, I had to understand it's something that you have to define yourself. I have definitely self-care where I take my spiritual baths and I meditate, and then yoni steams are amazing for me. But another thing that I'm noticing with self-care, and I talked to my sister about it, I had a day that I just was like, I don't want to do anything today.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything today. Like I had a list of things that I had to get, tasks that needed to be done. I had to get my house a little bit in order. And I just was like, I don't want to do this today. And it's going to make me feel good to not do it.
Yeah.
And that was something that I took as self-care.
It is. But I think as Black women, and for our history and our ancestors, we were never given the opportunity to rest. And if you did rest, you were considered lazy, or you felt like you were lazy. And the first time that I actually gave myself permission to relax and not do and be and go, I felt like I was giving my ancestors the opportunity to relax. I was giving them the okay that you can relax. I know it's been hard. I know you don't have the answers. I know you don't have the energy. I know you're tired of showing up. You can relax, and without any expectations from yourself or anybody else.
Exactly.
I think it's so hard for us to get to that point. But once we break through and break free of that mentality of always having to go, go, go and be and wear all the hats, it's such a freeing space.
It is. And then also something that I had to tell myself on the daily, that this is a journey.
Yeah.
You know, generational curses is a journey. Starting the Lotus House has truly been a journey.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't had any like severe health issues, female health issues, but there were women in my family who did.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that, first of all, I am still learning. I am still a student, and I'm going to forever be a student. So I'm still learning so much. And it just was like, Danielle, just breathe for a minute. You're still learning. You're still building this up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall down, but you have to keep going. So sometimes, like, you know, when I'm trying to tell myself, you know, just for you're gonna relax today, Danielle. This is not you being lazy. This is you not getting things done. You're just going to relax. But it's like sometimes you have so much pressure of trying to change things around for your children, and then especially they start having children. It's like, I gotta get this done, but then it's like it's a journey.
Yeah.
And you understand, like what they say, it's the marathon. You know what I mean? It's not a race, you know.
Yeah. Definitely. But I think that's the beauty in it, because a lot of us, this is our first time doing it. Nobody else in the family. I don't have anybody in my family that was a self-care coach or was into herbs or is into, well, I can't really say fashion because my grandmother, she did design her own clothes, but like nobody else in the family had written a book. Nobody else really went to college. So a lot of the stuff that we're doing it's our first time ever in the history of our families. And we're setting the stone for our children and our children's children. So it's not easy. We don't have a play-by-play. There's no blueprint for how it's supposed to look. We just know our grandparents and our parents had to work. And I want to work, but not as hard. Not sacrificing who I am. I want to work, but with a cause. I want to work, but with a passion, with the motivation, with intentionality behind it. And I think that's what sets us apart, but it also makes it so different, because there's no cookie cutter way to do this. Especially in anything that's dealing with spirituality and healing and like always learning and growing and releasing and detaching from, there's no way that we can all just be like, okay, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is what self-care is. This is how you heal your yoni, because everybody has had different traumas.
Yes.
And different impacts. They are in different environments and grew up in different environments. So the measures that they might have to take may be different from the ones that you have to take.
Yeah. And to be honest, you know, talking about our ancestors, we have so much access to so many things that they did not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even just from conversations alone, to be able to tell, you know, my son or my daughter, okay, asking them, you know, how was your day? How can you do this differently? You know what I mean? This is something that we can do to work through this. That wasn't given to them. You know, they have the mentality of what stays in this house, and, you know, they got to stay in the house, or, you know, so much other things that, like, you know, love my mother dearly, that she's still working through, and she's in her 50s. And I'm just like, okay, this it's in this present moment that I have to do this work, because not only am I teaching other women, I'm still teaching the women before me. You know what I mean? And they're listening. And I'm just like, this is important, you know?
It really is. And it's crazy because, like, it's amazing how much we can learn from each generation. Like I said, our grandparents and our parents, they taught us what it is to be a diligent worker, what it is to show up and be sacrificial. But our generation is learning, okay, yeah, I can show up and I can sacrifice certain things, but at what cost? The generation after us is like, I'm not sacrificing that. I'll sacrifice something else, but I'm not about to stay at this job too long if they're not treating me right. I'm not about to stay in this relationship if it's not working for me. I'm not about to sacrifice who I am at the core for certain things. So I think that especially us as millennials, I think we're in a great space because we're in between the knowing and the unknown.
Mm-hmm. We are. And it's just, and it was a time when I had the mentality of thinking that I couldn't say no. That was huge for me. Yeah. And I had to tell people no that I love genuinely and I would do for, but it was pulling so much from me that it just was like, I can't do this because if I do this, I'm not going to be in the right peaceful place. You know what I mean? So I think saying no was huge, including being in a relationship that I knew needed to end. But my whole mentality was, because I had my son at the age of 18. So I was a single, mom for quite some years. And then I get into another relationship where he had better things as far as being a hardworking man and everything like that. But that's not, everything. So I had to be able to walk away from being in a relationship that I knew needed to end, being a single mom again, and I had to tell myself, am I a single mom or am I just single? Because he still does
mom that is single.
Exactly. Yeah. And I had to difference between that because that was hard for me because I wanted to, again, break the generational curse of getting married and all that. But what is really marriage if you're not happy?
Yeah.
Like marriage is work, but if I am genuinely not happy being with you, I'm not doing this.
Right. And I think what you said was powerful because even though you had somebody that had the stability, they still weren't the right person. And a lot of people get into marriages and relationships because the person has something that they've lacked, like especially stability. That's something that's big for a lot of us. And being a single mother, having somebody that is stable is really important. But we have to learn, like when we're building these relationships and also creating these boundaries, that yes, this person can have one or two of the things and we can be okay with us working on and learning the other things. But if you are still sacrificing a part of yourself, a part of your security just for that one thing or those two things, is it really something that you're really going to be happy in? Because healing is a daily journey. And not only are you on your own healing journey, you're agreeing to be in relationship and commune with somebody else that is on a totally different healing journey from you. So one day you might not be feeling it, but they also might not be feeling it because you don't know what they're going on and going through in their journey. You don't know what they're dealing with, what battles they're dealing with, because we can only talk about so much. We don't really know the core of everything a person is and what they're dealing with. So you have to learn that stability is important, yes, but how this person deals with conflict, how this person deals with finances and managing business, because a part of marriage is business. Being able to pay bills is like a business. Being able to manage your children, that's like business, because one parent can discipline the child by beating and spanking. And the other parent could be more of a social emotional learning. Let's make a lesson out of this. Let's talk about your emotions. What are you feeling? Why are you so angry? Or it could be the eating habits. The one parent might just give the child candy and the other parent's like, no, we're going to have fruit. I'm going to make everything from hand. Like all of those things are important. Are important. And those are the things that needs to be discussed when we're looking for a partner. Yes. It's not just the outside, it's that whole other person's life and mentality outside of what you know.
Yeah. And to be honest, I didn't even know to question those things until I got into that relationship that needed to end. It was so much that I've learned so much from being in it. And when I was in it, I just, oh my God, it was just like, God, why did you do this to me? But it's like, you know what? I'm so grateful for it. I'm not grateful for, the things that really got pretty bad, but I'm grateful for the things that I need to be aware of. I need to pay attention, me and my sister was having this conversation, and we're kind of going through the same journey of healing and developing what does self-care and self-love mean to us. But it was just like, when it comes to dating, I feel like everybody has gone through some things, but a question that you have to ask: what did you do to heal from this?
Yeah. What are you continuously doing to heal from?
I didn't even know to ask that until I was in a relationship where, a person that I knew had so much trauma as a child. And it's like, when you in your healing journey and you don't know about the tools and taking accountability, when you meet a person like that, you just want to, it's okay.
Trauma bond.
Exactly. But it's like, they have to do their individual work, and it's important. Biggest support system. But if you're not doing your individual work or taking accountability, this is not going to work.
And that's why I say be a part of your own rescue, because like in the beginning, because I kind of had a similar relationship experience. Like, I knew I was not supposed to be in a relationship. We were together 6 years off and on, but unofficially together, at like never really together. Only that he wanted to be in a relationship. So it was like around that time, and this was in college, so I had never been in a relationship before. And my standards, according to my friends, were entirely too high. So I lowered my standards because I wanted to be in a relationship. And once I got in a relationship, it was like, okay, right. What are we doing here? And then I would ask God, like, why would you let me go through this? Like, and then I realized, had I not lowered my standards, I wouldn't have been in this predicament. I wouldn't have dealt with a lot of the stuff that I dealt with. Because once I started healing and I started understanding, like, this was just a trauma bond. I wanted somebody to heal me just as much as I wanted to heal somebody else. Yes. That's all it was. Like, I really just wanted to be wanted. And that comes from not feeling wanted in so many different areas of my life, not feeling loved in so many different areas. So it was like, I'm losing something to gain something that I'm not really gaining, if that makes sense.
That part.
So, so once I started my healing journey, I was like, you know what? And BU started solely out of pure anger and getting back at people because I felt like nobody was really there. I had so many hands in everybody else's life, but I didn't really have help in my life. So BU was like, you know what? I'm doing this on my own. I've always been on my own. Nobody really out here. I'm homeless. I'm struggling in school. I done lost my mom. Like, all of these things that are going on in life. And I was like, you know what? I'm just sick of it. Just be a part of your own rescue. Ain't nobody out here saving nobody. Just show up for yourself. So in the beginning, it was just like, I'm just doing this because I'm on this road by myself. And then once I started healing, I was like, you know what? I am on this road by myself. I am doing this journey alone, but I'm doing it alone in company of others that are alone on their journey.
And I've learned to, even in that, yes, I have to trust in myself of going into this alone, because I'm really the first in my immediate family that started this journey. And then, I definitely had family members come along as they started to see the difference in me. But in the beginning, it was very lonely, but I trusted in spirit and I trusted in my ancestors that, okay, I'm alone, but I am going to need some help from people that, have been through this. Then came the books, then came the YouTube channels, then came the podcast, and they have been so helpful. I've been listening to your podcast. I'm just like, yes, thank you for doing this, because this is needed, because a lot of us are in this alone. A lot of this a lot of us are women that have started from scratch with this love thing. And it's just like, all right, I know I need this. I know I need to love myself, but where do I start? I can't go.
What does that look like for me?
Exactly.
It's hard, but once we figure out like the basics of, am I a person that likes to go get my nails done every 2 weeks? Or am I a person that likes to go get massages? And Or am I somebody that's simple that just doesn't want to answer any phone calls today or answer any emails and I just want to binge watch my favorite show? Like, your self-care journey is based on what you need in the moment, and every day is different.
Yes.
But I feel like before you can figure out what your self-care journey looks like, you have to go on the self-love journey.
Yes.
You like really have to figure out what falling in love with Symphony looks like, what falling in love with Danielle looks like. Mm-hmm. Date yourself. When I first started, like, I was working at the bookstore at Savannah State, and I would be at work researching places for me to go because I'm purely a homebody. I've never really been anywhere like that besides like a couple of places because I was performing with concert choir. But other than that, like, I was never really out like that. So once I decided that I'm gonna start dating myself, I would just wake up and just travel somewhere for the day, go to Florida for the day, go to Myrtle Beach for the day, and just like really enjoy and commune with myself and be like, dang, this is what it feels like to be courted, to be like to date. And it has nothing to do with anybody else doing it, but I did it for myself. So when I started dating, I was like, okay, if you can't, because what I was used to is, because I'm a people pleaser, I'm just going to say, I don't require much. I'm just a chill in the house type of girl. No. I like to get up. I like to get dressed. And sister girl like to have her back out every now and then, you know? I like to throw on some earrings. I might have a head wrap on. I might just be wearing my hair. Like, you never know. But I'm about to show out.
Yes.
You're not just going to keep me in no house. You're not just going to be, I'm just going to be okay with, let's Netflix and chill. No. I'm not that girl. I am not that girl.
You know what? And I was there too. And it took me dating myself to realize, you know what? Yeah, I'm a homebody too, but I don't mind stepping out. And anywhere that I go, it is nice. You know, it don't have to be extremely expensive, but it has to be nice. And now it's like, I haven't started dating yet, but now when I do, I'm like, I want to pay attention. When you asked me out on this date, did you go to this restaurant before? Have you checked it out? You know what I mean? Did you make your reservations? You know what I mean?
Are you really planning this, or are we gonna have to figure this out on the way? Or you gonna come to me for the planning?
Exactly. And it took me dating myself to think about those things. No, this is what I would want from a guy to look at all of these things, because I love myself enough to know that I'm not going to a restaurant that I don't like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in the beginning, it's a little awkward because it's like, okay, I'm really here by myself.
Yeah.
But that's to the point where I'm here by myself and I'm enjoying myself. Like, this is time for me, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I used to go sometimes and I used to try to study and cover my day up as me studying. And then I realized I wasn't really focusing on my work. So then I was like, you know what? Just enjoy it. You said you came on a date. Enjoy it. You got all the time in the world to study. You can do that in your dorm room. You don't have to do that right here. So like, really enjoying it. Can I have my finger, please? Really enjoying it and being like, dang, like, this is who I am. And I really see why people like me, because you really are popping. Like, you really are out here doing stuff and you are worthy of love.
Yes. And it took me, I'm not even gonna lie, I went into solitude for a minute. And till it, like, I feel like spirit was like, all right, it's time to get out of this now. Out of hermit mode, that's what they call it. But it was so important for me to be by myself, because like you said, you have to start with self-love to understand what self-care really means, you know? And it was moments where I cried, I screamed, everything. But then it took a moment where I had to get naked and stand in front of a mirror and just look at myself.
Yeah.
The negative thoughts came first, but then I had to tell myself, hold up, I really got it going on. I have two children. Like, I'm not one of those women that like had children and then nothing shows. No, my body does show, but I love it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it took me so long to get to that point because it's like you go through the comparing and all that stuff. And that's just the love part of your outside. Because the inside is important too, because I had to be in solitude to deal with the inside, to be able to love the outside. So every time I'm in the shower, girl, I'm doing my little dance in the mirror and everything. I love it.
But you know what? It's crazy because like now I'm just like, I don't believe in wearing clothes at all. If you come over to my house, you might see a cheek, you might see a breast, like you never know. Don't call me on FaceTime and not really expect me to be naked. But in the beginning, it was so weird for me. It was so hard to just not wear any clothes, to just look at yourself completely naked, to understand that I have flaws, which are not really flaws, but I have flaws. I have things that I've done in my past that I'm not ashamed of, but I just know that's who I was in that moment. And that's who I felt like I had to be to get through that stage in life. So to actually stand in the mirror naked and like mentally be naked as well, emotionally be naked, and then physically understand my nakedness, girl, I haven't went back to clothes since.
Right. Right. I've been there too. Like, I mean, when the kids is out, I take everything off, and I'm walking around the house, I'm dancing around the house, and I'm just like, wow, check me out, because I would have never done it years ago. Like, I felt like I had to cover up everything. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a woman that like shows everything when I'm out, but I do show a little bit, and I love it. And I'm just like, I had to get to a point where what I'm wearing and what I'm doing is for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like so many people that, well, I know that at the time when I was younger, when I would get dressed, it was like, okay, I hope, somebody looks at me and thinks you. And at that time, I wasn't really looking at me,
Yeah, they weren't. And that's the crazy thing, because like, for me, I always had to dress up because my grandparents, like, you always got to have your hair done. You always got to be dressed looking nice. And my grandmother, she always thought that I was going to be a teacher. Lo and behold, I ended up being a teacher anyway. But she just, every time she see me, she was like, oh my God, you look like a teacher. You would be such a good teacher. I just see you teaching this, and this. And I did used to wear the preppy or the long skirts with the button down shirt. So I could see the teacher, I could see where she got it from. But because my grandparents valued my appearance so much, I did too. So first, when I cut my hair, and did I cut it in 2015, I think? 2015, 2016. For years, I used to always be like, why are people cutting their hair? And they say it's just hair. But once I cut my hair and I understood that it's definitely just hair, that's when I feel like my journey shifted gears. Yes. Because I was no longer focusing on my hair. It was my face. It was my beauty. I could see my ears, and I like these earrings. I like big earrings. I like wooden earrings. I like all of this stuff. And then it was, dang, I am pretty. I have a big smile. I am like a light in so many different ways. And it took me cutting my hair to realize that. But my grandparents didn't really understand, because my granddad was like, oh, your hair is your beauty. A woman cut her hair. So it was kind of like, on the inside, I know this is who I am. But externally, it was conflict, because I'm like, dang, people don't really accept me. And then I had to realize, it's not about them accepting me. It's not about them approving my look. It's not about me showing up the way that they want me to show up. So that changed how I started dressing, which is how Faded Beauty came along. And it originally, this shirt that I have on now, it originally came along because I cut my hair. So the title was Faded Beauty because I had a fade. But over the years of me learning and growing,